What is going on YouTube? Hayden back making another brand new Crypto TV episode. In today's video, we're going to be looking at Litecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, as well as XRP to US dollar. We're also going to be looking at DueDEX as well as the current coin market cap. Hopefully you guys watched yesterday's video. I actually put out two of quite, some interesting topics. One was in reference to obviously the XRP and Ripple Bitcoin movements could actually explode due to the fact that we're seeing some sort of symmetrical triangle where the bears and bulls are actually reaching some point of divergence, which is pretty great if you ask me. And they also put out a video that did quite well in relevance to what I was expecting in regards to the S&P 500 and the current economy. So if you guys haven't actually checked out this video yet, I highly recommend you check this out. And from the feedback that I've gotten, I'm probably going to start making more videos like this. So definitely let me know your feedback down in the comments below if you want to know some very interesting technical analysis about the current US economy instead of just, or not instead of, but also including technical analysis. We'll be talking about two different things, the cryptocurrency as well as the stock market. Otherwise, if you guys are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. Remember to follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial. This way you guys can get into contact with me. I know a ton of you guys have actually been reaching out recently, so I'm a huge fan of that. Definitely make sure to, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, definitely follow me on Twitter, DM me, comment something on my wall, and I will make sure to get back to you. Otherwise, let's jump into today's episode. So on the topic of yesterday, you guys can see we were talking about this potential massive price pump coming for Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I'm obviously going to continue off of where I left, reevaluating the markets. As we know, some very interesting movements have happened. You can see that once again, top 10 cryptocurrencies, some very interesting movements have happened, specifically in relevance to those of you who are big XRP hodlers. Huge shout out to everybody that is an XRP hodler. We're actually seeing the coin explode in price right now, up almost 11% on the day. Absolutely wild, absolutely fascinating. You can see the other cryptocurrencies look like their sideways consolidation is still happening, and maybe, just maybe, the XRP movement is foreshadowing what's to come within the other cryptocurrencies. Some very interesting topics to discuss today. Before we jump into the other cryptos, I want to actually start with XRP because I do believe this is a huge thing we need to discuss ASAP. So as you guys can see my sandwich charts right here, let me just open these up and in relevance to what we need to talk about. All right, so now that I have these pulled up right here, you can see that there are some other movements that we're seeing on Bitcoin and the other cryptocurrencies in regards to what could be coming for XRP. So when I show you guys the XRP chart, we were talking about this yesterday, that XRP actually needed to retest this resistance. This is a critical resistance point that was either going to honestly make us break bearish or consolidate higher. Obviously, we broke bullish, which is amazing, and it is a huge, promising movement for the market, specifically for those of you holding XRP. Reason being is we know that XRP has had literally months, and if not years, actually, of just negative return on investments year after year since 2017. We have this massive downtrend right here, and my gut feeling was telling me with the technical analysis that there was a good chance that after breaking out of this white resistance that has been on the market for literally years, there was a very good chance we would start to use it as a means of support. Now it's a lower support, which means we could obviously be bouncing off of this and head lower. Just to draw it out really quickly, we could easily see this. Don't be fooled. This just means we'll hang out on top of it instead of below it. So it's not only acting as it's not acting as a resistance anymore like it's been back in early 2019. It's actually, or the late 2019. It's actually acting as a support in the early 2020, which is something we actually see. And I've actually seen within cryptocurrency some very interesting moves. I could pull up a graph right now, but just to give you guys a general understanding, usually what I've seen with technical analysis, and I don't want to spread any, FOMO, but I've seen some very interesting moves where after we break out of what appears to be a descending triangle, we actually have this fake pump fake, and then the real one actually happens now. So it usually sees this resistance, we break outside, and then we fall back below it to retest the support support, which was the previous resistance, and we actually break up off of this and then, move to the upside. So who knows? This fake that we had right here, this quick pump fake, could be the reason why we see a break off of this support, regain our foothold, and then actually head up higher. Obviously, it's not going to be a direct streamline to the upside. We'll actually have to see some months of consolidation, some sideways movements, some corrections, but this is definitely some huge news for my XRP hodlers. As you guys can clearly see, we are doing just that. We're not only bouncing off of our strong support at 14 cents, we're also bouncing off this downtrend right here, and that is great news. This is showing me that this is a support not to be messed around with, and we are most likely going to be bouncing off of this, probably retesting 20 cents within the near future. And if things pull through, now that we bounced off the bottom oversold line, there's a good chance we'll slowly head back up in the nearing months to the high-low middle moving average, which is that green band you can see right there. And honestly, to be slightly optimistic, we could head anywhere in between the red and green band, which is prices from 34 cents all the way up to 75 cents, which is absolutely amazing when you look at the price at 18 cents right now. That's a huge flip from the current level of 14 cents. That is like 5 or 6 times its current price, which is absolutely amazing. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover with XRP. Huge news. I'm very psyched, very pumped to see the correction and the bounce happening. That's just really something nice to see, especially when we do know that crypto, specifically XRP, has been trading fairly similar to the other cryptos. I know we don't see it as much right now. You can see that Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin actually are more similar than the Litecoin trend, than the XRP trend. XRP was actually, if I show you on the daily, literally just trading sideways, flatlined out. These usually do tend to, break up with big volume, but you can see for almost 2 weeks now, just sideways consolidation. We had our strong resistance right here at 16 cents. We discussed if we were able to break the 17-cent resistance, we would buy long. And that's honestly something you guys could consider in reference that we would shoot up to the 20 cent, if not up to the 24 cent resistance areas. Obviously, if you guys want more information on XRP, you want to know my specific trades that I plan on doing with XRP, definitely make sure to head on over to my Patreon group. We have over 60 patrons now, which is absolutely amazing. And I highly recommend you join the team on there. There's also some private Twitter groups you guys can get involved in. The link is in the description, and it does help support the channel. So huge shout out to everybody who is supporting the Crypto TV community. Now, just to move on from XRP, obviously we had this big pump, and that really does show a couple of things in the market right now. That means that even in this bear market that we've been seeing, even in this crazy economy that we've been seeing, there are cases where we do end up breaking with extreme volume. We can apply this to other cryptocurrencies, being optimistic that the bulls look like they are coming back. You can see that we have had an uptrend for the most part within Litecoin and the other cryptos. And you can see this is on the 4-hour for Litecoin. There's a good chance now that as we get closer and closer to retesting the resistance nearing this high-low middle moving average, we could see a bullish break. Now, I just want to draw this resistance in right here. You guys can pretty much see what it is that I'm referring to. There is a couple more days now of some sideways movement, but there is a very good chance we'll probably see the price move up a little bit higher from $40 to $41, honestly, very small gap. And then if we can close that, and if we can break through this resistance, because this is going to be a huge, and I mean a huge retest for Litecoin and Bitcoin and Ethereum. The fact is we've had literally weeks now of consolidation. I'll just draw the date range. We've had about 12 days now, so 2 weeks now of sideways consolidation. If we end up breaking here, and this is going to be a very clear-cut buy-in and long position as well as a short. If we can break above the $41 resistance, I am extremely long on Litecoin, expecting to see a bullish break up to $50, and vice versa. If we ended up breaking below the $39 support, there's a chance we're going to topple over and pull all the way back to $33. It's very clear, very easy. These two positions can be set up on DueDEX. And moving on in relevance to DueDEX, looking at the Bitcoin chart. So you guys can see very similar thing applies to the Bitcoin chart. The only difference is with Litecoin, it's retesting its high-low middle moving average, and we're actually kind of toppling over and trading above here. I just want to slightly extend this out so I make sure I'm pretty much capitalizing everything that's inside of it. I'd like to say this is pretty much where we are right now, and you can see there is definitely a stronger resistance here as well as a stronger support. We do have this uptrend right here. I want to draw in a nicer resistance for you guys. You can clearly see that we are hitting sideways movements, but just like that. So we are getting, there's a lot of lines. I know there's a lot of things getting sandwiched here. But you guys can see we do have this clear uptrend. We have these lower highs being put in, or sorry, these higher lows being set. And that is a very good sign to show that we did bottom out and we are headed back up. But the same thing that I said about Litecoin applies to Bitcoin. If we end up breaking, I would honestly say conservatively above 68, if not, you know, $7,000, really conservative. But yeah, we can leave it at 7,000. If we ended up breaking bullish above 7,000, there's a very, 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 very high chance we will be extreme volume shooting us up to much higher levels. Vice versa, if we ended up breaking through, I would say this resistance right here, closer to, I would honestly say $6,500 is a good chance we're going to short, expecting to see a full drop all the way down to $5,000. Like I said, more information on that will be published on my Patreon. Highly recommend you check that out. And then to wrap up today's video, with Ethereum, very, very, very similar thing. You can see much more clearly than the other cryptos, sideways trading the past 4 days. The coin has not moved at all. The price has literally been flatlined, no movement. That once again is signaling a massive break to happen. It's probably going to happen today or tomorrow, if not within the next 3 days. That is probably the last we're going to see of this, and then we are going to see some big volume. Same thing applies here. If we end up breaking, I would say resistance closer to $145. Expect a bull run up to 188, and if we break bearish below the I would say $132 support, good chance we're going to fall all the way down to 109. These are all options that you guys have. They're very easy to make. You can have 2 positions open. You can have 2 exchanges open. You can have DueDEX open on one for the short. You can have Coinbase Pro open for the long. Obviously, you can set your leverage trades on DueDEX for that short position, and then you can have your limit order set to fulfill for a long on Coinbase Pro, and you can have these both, you know, fill when the time proceeds, and then you can obviously just cancel the other one. So huge things to come. Obviously, if you guys want to check out DueDEX, I know I didn't talk about it much in today's video because we have so much to discuss. You can find this in the description down below. Highly recommend you sign up because it is very important to have, especially when you're trying to follow my trades on YouTube. Otherwise, guys, if you are new to the channel, definitely make sure to subscribe, turn on post notifications, leave a giant thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at CryptoVOfficial, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Peace.